Hello, my name is Brian Stone from Business IT Systems, and today we're going to talk to you about OneStop MPS Portal and how we've integrated HP Smart Device Services, or SDS. OneStop is available either as a solution hosted by ourselves or for those that prefer a self-hosted model where you can hold the data and systems in your own data center as you wish. It's available in a number of languages, as you can see. Today we're going to just have a quick look in this video about how you can access the SDS features within OneStop, how we've integrated them into the core of the product. We're going to look at a couple of use cases. We're going to touch on the predictive alerts, and then finally just go through how you can contact us should you want further information or you need support. When you log on to OneStop, your default landing page is the dashboard, which gives you an overview of the devices that you as a user can see. As we can see, we're in an HP UK group. We've got just over 30 devices monitoring. We have some with errors, warnings, some with various alerts, some consumable orders. We have one agent or DCA running, and we have one outstanding job ticket, one device that's got some security alerts. And the area here we're interested in, which is smart device services. 17 of these devices are enabled for SDS. You can see here that actually 3 of them have got high priority actions and one has a medium priority action. So we're just going to select on this device here, and this is just going to filter our device view now for our SDS devices. When we were looking at how we implement SDS, it was really important to us that it became a core part of the product, almost a superset of what we can do with normal devices. And so it was really important that it was integrated and not a bolt-on where you had to go somewhere else to do the SDS functionality. As you'll see here, everything within OneStop is context driven, and as I select this device, there's a bunch of options and things I can do. But we have a set of HD SDS operations that are also available for this particular device. I can reboot the device. I can launch the web UI. I can configure the device or run an assess and remediate. I can set a console message. I can update the firmware. I can set suppliers notification options. I can retrieve event logs if I need to, force a retrieval of actions, or should I have to process black box data. When we were implementing the SDS, the other thing we wanted to do was make sure that what we'd done was, rather than just go through a box ticking exercise and look at the SDS APIs, was actually make sure that the way we'd implemented it made sense from a technician or an end user's point of view. And so often we've combined multiple functions, as you'll see here. So when we reboot a device, for example, we have the option to reboot the device now. That may be what's required, or maybe we want to schedule it. So we're going to say, well, actually I want to reboot this device tonight at 10 o'clock. But what happens if there's still users around at 10 o'clock? Well, we can actually set a console message on the device at the same time. So here we are, device will reboot at 22 tonight. Now, if I select that option and enable that now, what's going to happen is this will issue 3 separate commands to SDS, which will get issued to the device. The first will set a console message now that the user can see, saying the devices are going to be rebooted at 10 o'clock tonight. At 10 o'clock we'll issue another command which will actually reboot the device, and then following that we'll issue a third command which clears the console message. The key thing here is we're actually combining several different SDS functions to make something that's more friendly to the end user and more easier to use in a single step for the technician or whoever it is that's actually running there. Rather than having to go through multiple processes and issue multiple commands, we're doing that automatically in a way that we think makes more sense. We can also do something such as update the firmware. So if we select this option, for example, what's going to happen is we're going to go away and retrieve all the firmware available for this particular device, and then we're going to identify whether the version we're running at the moment is actually the latest, and it turns out it's not. So we see we've got a list here of all the firmware that is currently available and when it was released. If we select one of the versions, it'll give us a bit more information depending on what's available as to readme effectively as to what information is available, and confirms date, title, etc. Again, we can determine whether we want to update now or schedule this, and whether we're going to display a console message letting the user know what we want to do. But we don't just have the option to do one device at a time. Batch operations are, again, straight into the core of OneStop. We don't have to go somewhere else to do that. If I select 2 devices and say update firmware, I'll get a different option. In this case, because it's not practical, I'm not likely to want to select different versions for each device. It says, well, okay, do you just want to update each device to the latest version of FutureFoot Smart 3 or 4? If we select 3 or 4, it will go away, then work out for each of the devices we've selected what is the actual latest version of firmware for that particular device, and request that we update that device to that particular version. So we don't have to worry about making sure we're selecting the correct latest version. The software will handle that for us. And again, we can schedule that to be done now, later, and display a message on all those devices. We'll cover batch operations in more detail in the longer video that follows this, and how you can easily monitor the batches and look at the results of those commands. Another key area of SDS is the device actions. The device actions is really the intelligence behind the SDS cloud, where devices can be monitored for particular events, particular performance, using various sensors, and if it's deemed that there could potentially be an issue, and a device action is raised that will alert us that maybe there is something we need to go and do to that. There are a number of ways that we can find that, and as you saw, we could go from the dashboard, or from here we can just filter on devices that have a high severity action. And if I just pick one here, I can go to the device actions tab, and I can see that I've got a replace fuser action. It tells me it's a high severity, it's currently open, it's a predictive alerts, so this is something that's come from the HP engine. It thinks that it's likely to happen within the next 30 days, and there's a 0.8% probability there between 1 and 0. If I hover over here, it's going to give me a bit more information about it. It's going to tell me what tools I want, what parts I need. And then finally, what we have here is a link which will actually take us to a page from an HP page that will give us more information about what we need to do. We have a video instructing us what we need to do, and as we scroll down, you can see we've got a full set of instructions on exactly what we need to do, and that's all available right from within the core of OneStop. We've only really just started to touch on some of the features that we've got within OneStop, and as you can see, there are a whole load of SDS functions and operations we can perform here, and we'll be looking at these in more detail in the longer video, including raising job tickets from actions, the remote UI, report a problem application, and managing batch operations. Hopefully you've just got a bit of a feel for what we can do, and more importantly, how we've tried to bring HP SDS into the core of OneStop, so that it's just a natural part of your everyday workflow, rather than an additional function that you need to go elsewhere for or use a separate product for. Everything is right within the core of the solution. We have only just touched on some of the SDS functionality here, so please watch the more detailed video, or contact us, either email at info@bits.uk.com, which is our general email address, or support@bits.uk.com to raise a support ticket. Thank you for your time, and we hope to hear from you soon.